The rules never came from management. No handbook, no induction video, no stern talk from Harrow. They dripped out in fragments, Darren muttering while he pressure washed a tray, or the night guy who quit last year leaving half-finished notes in the bottom drawer. Always casual, always like bad weather you just endure. The front door after 2:15 stays locked, no exceptions. Bell after 2:30, don't answer it. Tray 4 between 3 and 3:30, pretend it's not there. And after the windows go dark, don't answer any voice you recognize, not even once. Just stay quiet. He'd laugh after each one like it was nothing. I laughed too. My car needed a new transmission, the account was bleeding red, and custody payments didn't wait. You take the double time and keep your head down. Darren bailed at 1:12 a.m. with a text that reeked of excuse. Guts fucked, sorry. I sat in the idling car, headlights washing over the side entrance. The building looked smaller at night, crouched like it was digesting something. I killed the engine and went in anyway. The side corridor lights always lagged, one heartbeat of pure black. Then they flickered on behind me like they'd changed their mind. The smell rolled over me, floor polish, stale lilies, and that sweet underlying rot no ventilation ever touched. At 2:14, I locked the front doors. At 2:15, I rattled the handles again. Habit, not because I believed anything, just procedure. At 2:31, the reception bell rang. One clear ping. I froze mid-glove. Faulty wiring, I told myself, old building. It rang again, exactly 6 seconds later. Then again, patient, like someone standing at the counter with all the time in the world. Darren's flat voice echoed in my skull. Leave it ringing. I killed the overhead lights and slipped into prep room B, door almost closed. The bell continued, steady, breathing. Then it stopped. Footsteps replaced it. Not at reception, deeper in the corridor. Slow, deliberate, heading down toward the mortuary stairs. They didn't test the locked door. They just entered. I pressed my back to the wall and stayed there until my legs shook. When I finally stepped out, the hallway looked perfectly normal, the kind of normal that feels like a dare. By 3:05, the silence had weight. I needed storage tags for the morning transfer. I went downstairs. The cool room door resisted, like the air inside was thicker. 8 trays, 4 each side, all sealed. Except tray 4, a thin black slit catching the fluorescent glare. I knew the rule. I stepped closer anyway, just to check the latch, I told myself. The tray eased out another inch on its own. No sound. Something inside shifted. Soft, heavy weight resettling, followed by a faint, wet slide of skin on metal. I slammed the door so hard the echo chased me up the stairs. At 2:18, I passed the casket display room. The door stood open, lights on inside. I knew I'd closed it earlier. A polite voice drifted out. "Excuse me?" I slowed. "I think I'm in the wrong place." I stopped for half second too long. "Could you help me, Natalie?" My name, gentle, like we'd met before. I turned to leave. Behind me came the soft knock of wood, then a lid slamming shut like a jaw. Back in prep room A, my hands wouldn't stop trembling. I forced them to sort instruments, check paperwork, anything to stay busy. The phone slipped. It skittered across the bench and stopped against the big, polished steel cabinet. I bent to grab the phone. She was there, in the reflection. Blue dress, hands folded primly, one eye open wide, pale and unblinking. The other had a mortuary eye cap jammed underneath the lid, the same spiked plastic caps we use every day to keep eyes closed for viewings. But this one was wrong. The eyelid was stretched too tight over it, and thick, clear glue had oozed out from under the edge, drying in sticky strings. In the real room, I was alone. but on the steel, the figure reached up with gray-tipped fingers, hooked the edge of the eye cap, and slowly pried it upward. The eyelid peeled back with a wet, sucking sound. Black oil welled up from the empty socket. My fingers brushed the phone at the exact moment the oil spilled. A thick, warm drop landed directly on the back of my hand and immediately began to sink in. I yanked my arm back. The slickness didn't wipe off. It was already under the skin, spreading. I stopped trying to explain anything after that. At 4:12, the front door handle turned, testing. Again. I watched from the far end of the corridor, didn't approach. At 4:20, the bell rang once. I stayed put. At 4:33, footsteps dragged right past prep room A. Close enough I smelled something sweet and wrong on the air. Then the windows died. No gray dawn, just flat, matte black, like the outside had been painted over. Clock read 4:52. The clipboard by the lockers, the one nobody ever used, now had a fresh page, handwriting thick and smeary like a thumb dipped in oil. Some letters dragged down the sheet as if the writer had been yanked away. If light doesn't come by 5, stay inside. Do not open. The rest was a long black streak. My right hand now carried thin violet lines branching under the skin, following veins that no longer felt like mine. They pulsed once, slower than my heartbeat. Something deciding. The front door clicked unlocked. Footsteps, fast this time. Darren's voice, warm and ordinary. "Nat, I'm back. Brought coffee." Closer. "You finished the Morgan body yet?" My mouth betrayed me before my brain could catch up. "Not yet." The words came out too flat, too steady. Silence. Then a soft exhale on the other side of the wood. Yeah, thought so. My hand twitched. Fingers jerked open like they were stretching after a long cramp. I tried to close them. They didn't listen. The violet cords under the skin tightened, pulling from inside like puppet strings. "Hey," Darren said, mouth right against the door now. "You all right?" His voice had flattened, like it didn't need an answer anymore. The bell rang again, not at reception, not down the hall, inside the room, then inside my skull, sharp, waiting. My hand lifted toward the handle, heavy. The lines pulsed harder, dragging it forward, cold inches away. I could feel the temperature before I even touched it. I slammed my arm against my chest and held it there, nails digging into my own flesh. "You already did it," he whispered, "back there. You stopped for her. You answered me. That's all it takes." My fingers stretched again. The violet cords under the skin bulged, fighting me. I tasted something metallic at the back of my throat, embalming fluid and rot. I dragged the arm back, slow, like pulling through wet concrete. The lines resisted, then loosened just slightly. Darren didn't knock, didn't rattle the handle. After a long, patient silence, he laughed, quiet, satisfied, the laugh of someone who had already won. I stood with my back to the wall, hand crushed against my chest, feeling the lines shift and settle under the skin. Not gone, just waiting. The room stayed dark. My hand hasn't stopped waiting for its chance. Somewhere down the corridor, the bell is ringing again, 6 seconds apart, patient as ever. The next person on shift will hear it. They'll follow the rules. They'll try not to look too long at the woman in the blue dress, with the eye cap slowly working its way loose, or at the young woman with rotting hands who used to be Natalie, standing in prep room A with her hands folded. And if they slip just once, they'll join us, waiting for the next shift after that.